Cookin me up, baby. Cookin me up now. Cookin me up, baby. Cookin me up. What's going on, everybody? Look who it is. The beautiful Simion Collins, son.
Oh, we're started?
Oh, we're in it already.
Oh, shit.
Too late to turn around, baby. Welcome to my basement.
Thank you.
This has been a long time coming. If you didn't hear, Simion's been offended that he has been tagged in the shit where he gets mentioned. So I'm going to tag the fuck out of this one. You're going to be in everything.
Thank you. I greatly appreciate that.
It's the way you got to do things, I guess. But I guess you have so many more people on a staff of a shoot that really do require the tag to be seen at all. It's like when you're behind the camera, it's hard to be like, it's hard to feel included in the project unless you get mentioned in that comment section.
Exactly.
Okay, now you're getting creepy about it. I'm sorry. I messed up.
Because I don't gain more fans through your fans if they don't know I did the video for you. They'll be like, oh, God, Matt did this all by himself.
You hear that, my legions of fans, all five of you. Follow Simion Collins right now. Give him some love.
Yes, please.
No, that's why you're on the front of all the videos. Well, I guess not the front of the videos. I mean, that's just catfish.
I think every time you've been like, put the credit at the end. I'm like, but I want to put it at the front. Because they only watch the first 10 seconds anyway. Yeah. Some of them. The new fans, the real loyal ones, they watch the entire video.
Does it break your heart when you look at like the retention curve and like it legit does? It drops so steep after like 10 seconds.
Yes and no.
Why not no?
Because eventually when I'm to the place where I would like to be, you know, like on Netflix or Hulu or everything, I just know that they'll watch it. They'll binge watch everything. And then more than likely they'll try to like, you know, look me up and find me all the other work, ideally.
And what do you think, like we're both guys that are working in many places around the country, so it's not necessarily just local art, but it's like there's a certain threshold where people finally give a shit about you. And it's like, especially when it comes to your craft, it's even harder. You know?
Yes.
Like people will come to a show and they're bought in for the night versus they've been following you for 5 years and they've never watched a full video maybe. That's me, dog. I've never. No, I'm kidding.
I'm like, oh man, that's a rough. But I think when I'm out and about, at least locally, a lot of people know who I am, which I think when I first started was like kind of shocking. I was like, is this what a celebrity feels like? You know, just on a daily basis. But like, they're like, yeah, well, I watch your videos, and it's cool if they watch the 15 seconds and they were impressed in that 15 seconds enough to want to follow me and want to like watch more 15 seconds of every video that I post instead of the full thing. That's fine.
I guess that's fair. Like, you don't need everything to appreciate it from the start, but it's like you get context out of watching someone's work start to finish. Like, you know, I'm realizing that more about older mediums that like I didn't give a shit about reading books as a kid. You know, like I wasn't a strong reader.
Yeah.
But to go from page 1 through the epilogue, it's like you really get an idea of what it took this person, you know, maybe 3-4 years to put words to page, to edit, to make it concise enough for you to get something from that. And it's not like these short attention span kind of content pieces that we all live off of now. Like, it's part of my apprehension with TikTok. Like, why would I put hours into a 15-second bit that they're going to watch 2 seconds of? Versus, you know, saying like our projects where it's like 3.5 minutes, and I know I'll probably get the first minute of them, tops.
Right. Well, the funny thing is, I think it definitely nowadays depends more on the platform. For instance, TikTok, don't know why. Well, actually, I do know why, because I think they're attempting to compete with everyone else out there, even YouTube.
Yeah.
And because YouTube, there's a higher retention rate for longer form content, which is wild, but it's because of the purpose of the platform is for people to stay on the platform. I think Instagram has always been trying to figure that out. But the problem is, since it started with photos, you can look at a photo like that and you're moving on. So the scrolling culture from Facebook and Instagram is just outrageous compared to like TikTok or YouTube.
That's really crazy to think about, man. Like, especially like, you know, so So one of Simion's friends I've gotten very well connected with and I love dearly is Brian Sullivan. Amazing photographer. But you see the way everyone slaves over their craft. But something like that where it's immediately consumable. It's one and done. Like at most, I'm going to look through 3 photos of yours within 5 to 10 seconds. They spent more time than most people do on their computer, like scrolling on that one photo. It's like the ratio of what it takes to produce that content is ridiculously off kilter at times.
I agree. And the even more, can I curse on here?
Yeah, as much as you want.
The even more fucked up thing is most of the time people don't care. They don't give a fuck. They're like, I mean, that's a great photo. Click, move on. You know, the appreciation of it is just definitely lower. But that's just the toxicity of pretty much most platforms on your cell phone. Because if you go to a gallery, you'll look at a photo for like a good. Sorry,
you're good.
My throat. You'll go through the gallery and you'll look at a photo for like a good minute to a minute 30 at most, depending on how big it is. That's what she said.
Those aren't acceptable here. You can
I'm
curse.
So sorry.
Thanks, Michael Scott.
Right. I do watch The Office.
You ever listen to Office Ladies?
No.
Jordan's got me on that podcast, bro. It's pretty good. It's Pam and Angela. I don't know the actresses' real names, but they go through each episode. And I'm pretty sure the guy who plays Kevin also has an Office-themed podcast. Great media.
He does. He does. Yeah.
And that dude, when you listen to him talk outside of that show, it's like, how do you walk into the same job every day for a decade of your life and just dumb down your vocab and give yourself like slowed speech patterns? Like, I don't know. It just seems degrading. Whatever.
Yeah. Well, when you're getting paid good money, you kind of,
damn straight.
You're just like, I'm here. Hello.
Well, continue what you were saying though. Like, especially in a gallery sense, I think people do get that real exposure to what the photo is, but it also takes tangible copies to do that. Like, maybe that's what this NFT movement's partially about. Like, it doesn't need to be exclusive, but it needs to be tangible and like it's not an infinite resource. It needs to have some kind of finite
scarcity to it.
Exclusivity, whatever the word you want to put to that is. Because like if you walk through a photography gallery and things were on screens and they were still switching, the amount of time is going to be limited by how long it's on screen. And I'm sure that's saying like you really take that into consideration between jumping scenes down to which frame do we leave on and which frame do we enter on. It's so crucial to the way the art comes off.
Yep. I mean, that's another reason why like movie theaters nowadays they're hurting, but that's why they're trying to do movie theaters and streaming at the same time, because they're understanding some people don't want to leave their house.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's even more impressive if you can get those same people that don't want to leave their house to go to the movie theater and actually watch it, pay for it, and enjoy it the way that the artist intended. Same thing with live shows. Like there's live songs that you have that like if I listen to it on my cell phone, it's totally different when I experience it in person, and I love the song way more.
Yeah.
Even if I wasn't super eager about it when I was listening on my phone, I listened to it in person. I'm like, wow, I love the live version of this so much.
Yeah.
And it made me love the song. So.
And I for the musical medium, it's like it's the movement of air in a room that's really visceral, and you can get behind that, and that's when you can taste the vibe. It's different. But like a movie theater is such a different vibe too, because you get the right flick going on, and they have the speakers that when you hear waves crashing, they actually have texture to them.
Exactly.
You're looking at the screen that when you look around the room, everyone else is cued in, and that pulls you farther in, and also having a group reactions. Like that's why like a horror film at home is for a different type of person than a horror film in a theater that wants to jump in the crowd.
Yeah. Anyone that watch horror movies at home, they're like, oh, I'm ready to jump under the covers.
Yeah.
You have no covers at a movie theater. You have to just deal with it.
That's so interesting. You have to eat it.
You have to deal with it.
That's like when you go to like a luxury restaurant, it's like you're not getting to choose what you're having for the night. The chef's going to bring you a meal. It's like those kind of circumstances, that's when you're subjected to the art with the artist's intent. I guess that's what it all really matters on. Like, how did the guy or gal that made this want you to see it?
Exactly.
That being said, I know you mainly through our work together in music videos, and obviously your work spans a way broader spectrum than that. But what's the ideal way to watch a music video?
On your TV.
No shit, Sherlock. What do you mean? Like, you
I would
viewing
say,
parties?
I would say, I've never experienced a viewing party for a music video.
Really?
Yeah, I think I was invited to a listening party and they showed the music video there. But you know what? The music video, like, I would say, what's the word? Exclusivity of viewing it ended with like MTV Music a while back. Unfortunately, now granted, it would be fucking amazing if someone brought that back, but yeah, like most people try to view it on their cell phone. I recommend the TV because like your TV, your TV has greater detail than your cell phone should have, depending on
what you're doing,
your life. Yeah.
People still watching on the big box, dog. Like one of those like 64 inches that are like 2 feet back. It's like real plasma screens.
Exactly. You might want to check your phone. I got another Amber Alert.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, keep talking about what you're saying.
We should be good. So essentially, the what's it called?
It interrupted.
I knew it.
Pick up. You good.
So, yeah, depending on the TV that you have at home, and or your speaker system at home, I would say your computer and or an iPad, or a TV. Like your cell phone can only do so much in terms of like what I'm intending on giving you as far as like a full frame image, quality and all that. But consume it the best way you can, I guess.
For sure. And what I like about putting it on like even a laptop or a TV screen, like the difference between that is in a movie theater is not the surface itself, but it's the exclusion of other stimuli. It's like the lights are off, the focus is in one direction. There's a group intent to watch this and not that.
Right.
So like that's when people start throwing shit because you're on your phone or something like that. Like there's an experiential quality to that. You should think about having a viewing party for the colorful video.
Yes. I was actually thinking of that the entire time that you were talking about it for a hot moment. So it's like that would be fun. That's different.
Well, it makes it makes a different kind of splash for the amount of time we put into this one in particular. Like this was a faster paced project for us. Yeah. But that kind of moment, like it docks like
Should we rent out a movie theater instead?
No, you got connections, bro. What's that theater that was by the Imperial? That was by your old crib?
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
Does that actually have a theater in it?
Dude, I have no idea. I don't know if it's still closed or not.
I've seen someone go in there, but that doesn't mean it's not closed.
Yeah, that's a interesting neighborhood. Because, you see people standing outside of said theater.
Yeah. Now, is that technically west end of Clifton? That's close to Somerset, right?
It's close to Somerset, yeah.
Yeah. Also, shout out to Jess Lamb and Siriamani for their show at Somerset the other day. That shit slapped.
It was amazing. Yeah. It was a great time.
You came in so underdressed, bro. No, I'm kidding. The look of shock on your face.
I was like, did I? Oh, my God.
The first thing Sim said to me is like, why are you still dressed like that? I was like, what are you talking about, bro? I'm at the bar with my friends. Like, shut your damn mouth.
Oh, yeah, I did say that to you.
You were talking shit on the way in,
bro.
Oh,
my gosh.
It's okay. Killer show, amazing bar, and also like I like that part of town now. Like, you ever gone to Arts OTA over there?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, that was really close to your old spot, and like Byron, who runs that spot, like they just do a nice job with crafting the vibe. There's always new exhibits in there, so like it holds on to like the mission of showing the art. But like you're not gonna order a Miller Lite and sit in there and try to watch a football game. Like, there's something about the vibe that it doesn't exclude that from happening, but points you in a different direction.
Exactly. You're there to experience art in the literal sense.
Yeah.
All of it. Because I don't even know if they have TVs in there.
I think they have one or two like above the bar. They have one because they used to always play Xbox in there. I remember.
Okay, got you. Dude, anytime I've never seen like,
especially on a weekend, like no TVs on kind of a thing.
Okay, yeah, right. That makes sense.
At least I would assume so. Do you feel like when you want to be entertained outside of your work and you spend so much time looking at a screen, sitting in front of that desk, do you go to other mediums besides video to do that? or do you stay with what you're working on? Like,
what do you mean? Like, as far as like
when you're fishing for inspiration, when you're trying to find some new ideas on what to work on. Like we watched that trailer the other day. We were talking about the Impatient video. What was the name of that?
Right. The Cowboy Bebop trailer, the new one.
Looks so dope.
Yeah.
And like, is that something you do as a research project, or is that an entertainment thing?
That's all research, man. Most of the time, I'm always saving things that are that I could use as a reference at any point in time.
Word.
Especially if it caught my attention, or if I'm like, ooh, I want to try that. Like, so for the new video that we're gonna work on, the inspiration is going to be from how fast that trailer was. Now, granted, I recognize I should have shown you another one and not that one, because that one was a lot slower. But there's
time.
Yeah, exactly. I'll have to show you too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's. Most of the time I'm doing research. Anything that I do for fun is always networking.
Word.
Networking is my form of fun, if anything.
And do you like to do that through online mediums, or like
No.
obviously like we like going out?
I hate doing it online, dude.
Yeah.
If I could literally not be on my phone to advertise, I would.
Really?
But since I can't, I'm a slave to my phone.
It's unfortunate, man. But it's like
is.
it's you know, imagine a world where you couldn't carry around a high def enough screen to show somebody your work and have it accessible right there. It's like
That'd be amazing. It has to be portable.
Well, no, I'm saying like you probably couldn't do that before this. There was no option. You had to be looking for a screen all the time if you wanted to bring up your work. Versus when you meet a potential
True.
client out, it's like I can show you 3 videos right now that are on different parts of the internet that have a wide contrast of what you do. And like, where would we be without that tool?
Right.
But
True.
to be able to go dark is like, I think we all yearn for it more than we think about. But to actually leave the phone at home and go outside for a little bit, it's stressful. You get anxiety from that shit.
I miss being able to go to a friend's house and knocking on the door just to see if they're home. and be like, hey, can my friend come out and play? Like I literally do miss that, because nowadays it's like a little bit more it is more anxiety driven to like just show up somewhere, because you're like, bro, you can contact me first.
Yeah.
There's a cell phone for a reason. You're like, no, man, I just wanted to see you though.
and I think like
in the flesh,
people assume that they should be able to anticipate your presence more. Like, don't call me unless you text me first. Like, I got a lot of friends that are like that, and I understand, like, especially people that are at different points of life. If you got kids and you're busy and shit like that.
Nah,
but
man,
like,
you're gonna watch some kids for a little bit. What's up, Uncle Matt's here. You got a good 30 minutes, man. Thank you for stopping through.
It's been, you know, like, you're right in this class. Like, the first time I've had close friends that have had kids around. And it blows my mind to see, like, my homies in full daddy mode. But, like, shit's cute, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you, Jamarco, and Johnny Disco all had babies within, like, probably, like, 6 months of each other. And I was like, what?
Yeah, you're right. I actually seen Johnny earlier this week or last week at Motor.
Oh, no shit. Run sound?
Yeah. No, he was just chilling.
Good for him.
He was just chilling. I was like, oh, yeah, what's up, man? Good to see you.
Man. You never see Jamarco out in these streets. It's because he's working too much. Come on, Jamarco.
Right, yeah, I haven't seen Jamarco in a minute.
He just bought a house. At least he's moved home officially. Like, he was in Columbus for a little while, and we were really missing him. So even if he's locked in that house, at least I can show up on his front door and be like, give me my godson.
Right. That's amazing.
Yeah, dude.
And for the record, I only have one baby.
Yeah, I know.
You said babies. I was like, you said
Babies
all my
amidst
friends
the
have
group.
babies, and I'm just, whoo.
You're one
Plural.
of the you're one of the fertile friends in my life, but you're not the most fertile friend in my life. Jamarco is.
Oh, yeah, he has another kid on the way,
on
right?
the way, man.
Oh, my
Oh, and
gosh.
also Nick Meehan, baby on the way, son.
Oh, snap.
The whole
Congrats.
band is going to have children, and I'm not going to know what we can do in terms of touring, but we're going to figure it out, guys.
Right.
Please, I need to have some of you on board still. Just bring your kids with. I knew John trusted me the other day when he walked in. Shoogie's on his shoulder, dead asleep. And he was like, I'm not sure where to put him while I set up. I was like, give him to me.
He's like,
hands me his kid, and he wakes up. He goes, oh, he's not going to let you hold him now. I was like, damn it, so close.
right.
Man, like, what do you feel like that's been a big wake up to how much you're on a phone or in front of a screen? Like,
yeah, like, well, so I'm able to see, my son every so often when I'm not as busy. which is great. Working for yourself, I can see my son when I'm, in a season like this where it's less busy. But when it's really busy, I hardly get to see him, which sucks. But, because of said phone that I'm a slave to, FaceTime is amazing.
Yes.
So I get to see him almost every week in that form. But, yeah, like, for what I do, this provides freedom because this is all I do.
Yeah.
And there's obviously an extent to that, because if I'm working on something and it's going to take a week to do, I can't just wiggle out of that, But yeah.
Yeah. It's hard just to step away, especially like the indefinite nature of creative projects that are your day to day. It's like, if you're working on sending out contracts for a certain amount of clientele, it's like that has an end date. You send that email off and you're done with it. Even once you send your video to the client, it's not done. You're making sure they tag you and shit.
Right.
You have to go to all these extra extents to make sure things end up where you need them to be productive. And it's almost impossible to do unless you got a posse of people that just watch one aspect of it.
Yes. So Instagram, for instance, I didn't post for a year on Instagram. Like, at least like on my feed. Mm-hmm. I've not been active because I would just post stories and it was so much easier. It was just like this. Now I'm posting on my feed again and I have to spend hours to, one, also just connect with the people that's connecting with my content, because I don't believe in like, oh, people are just like me because they like it. Like, I'm like, no one fucking knows me. I need to be engaged in other people's content as much as they're engaged into mine.
Yeah.
And that takes time. So I'm like, I'll make a post. I think I made like 2 posts today. The reason why I didn't eat today is because I woke up at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
I made a post, 2 posts, and I've been interacting with people and interacting with their posts ever since.
Well, that kind of pulls me back to like what you're saying about YouTube. Like, these platforms try to keep you on their platform, and they suppress any of the efficiency tools that content creators try to use. Like posting schedules on third-party apps will get suppressed. Like, it's the nature of it. And yeah, they want you to engage organically with what's going on there, but they really limit the ability to live your life outside of that stuff. It's shitty.
Yeah.
Like, that's why thank God I got Riley in my life, who has been...
You got to tag me more often.
Riley, Simion's upset, and I can't do anything to fix this. I'll start tagging him after if you need me to, but I'd rather you do it if you don't. No, but it's like, finding people in your life that has spent enough time on these platforms to understand what does and doesn't work, and then they're willing to help you make your game better, or just focus on the content creation side of it. Because like it just becomes this all-inclusive headache, and people wonder why they hear less and less from you. It's like, because I'm sucked into these content streams that feel so perpetual at times.
Yeah. And that's exactly why my bigger goal is to work with streaming services and TV series or movies, because that's, one, it's a less pressure in terms of having to promote it myself. And it's also more infrequent. Therefore, when I do post or whatever, I'm charged up. I'm actually interested. I'm actually present instead of feeling like a walking zombie. And I'm like, yo, I got to do this because people need to know who the fuck I am.
Totally. And you're watching that upload number hit 97, 98, and you're late to something. And it's like that drag is so infuriating. And then also it kind of perpetuates the gear obsession that like every content creator has. Like, the equipment that we make this shit with just gets costlier and costlier, and
expensive as fuck.
It all farts out at some point. Like, it will just stop working. You're like, okay, well, now the next week of my life, instead of uploading the stuff I've been working on, is going to be replacing my second monitor so I have space to do this, or trying to get more hard drives and shit. Like, I've crashed 2 hard drives this year with easily a year and a half's worth of work, and it's been like...
Did you repair them?
No, duh. Like, they're broken. Like, trust me, when I break a hard drive, I break a hard drive. Like, they've fallen off stage, or I'm putting corrupted files on there on accident because things get interrupted. Like, the worst thing, I mentioned to him that I was running out of storage on my laptop because I started doing more video editing, and he just starts laughing, like, maniacally and hysterically. Right. And I was like, nah, dog, you're losing your mind. Like, okay, now I get it.
Shit's expensive, man. And
so expensive.
I think even for our next shoot, I have to buy a hard drive. I have to buy a hard drive for our next shoot. And
I'll buy the hard drive.
I have a dead hard drive already too, and I have to like.
I don't know what to do with those. Should I hit him with a hammer and put them in the dump, or like?
No, so the one that I have that's broken. I don't know about yours. You said you really break
I really
yours.
broke them.
My what's it called? Motor just stopped running. So, but it still shows up. So the software is fine.
Yeah.
The data's there, I think.
Can't you do like a passive transfer onto a new drive?
No, because if the hard drive isn't running, like the motor isn't running, it's not gonna load my shit.
Have
which
you ever
is
hit
annoying.
it?
No, I haven't. I've been scared.
I was told by a buddy, like, if your motor stops working in particular, you have one chance to smack this thing and see if it kicks in and transfer it right there, right then to another hard drive. Or you can send it to one, like, the rabbit hole I went down.
Geek Squad.
And they're like, yeah, so it's $1,000 for us to open it up, and then we'll replace it with the parts, so we'll charge you for another hard drive. And then if it's above a terabyte, it's going to be another $2,000. And I'm like, what are you talking about, dog? Like,
wait. Are we talking Micro Center or are we talking Geek Squad?
I went to Micro Center and they talked to me about that. I never went to Geek Squad.
Okay. I'm going to Micro Center too. I literally could do it by myself. I just don't want to do it by myself and mess it up. Like, because I know exactly what's wrong with it.
Word. Don't you have to have, like, sterilized, like, tools and everything to do that as well?
Yeah, like, dude, if they told me like $200, I'd be like, oh, okay. They tell me $1,000, I will look them in the face and be like, you're a lie. You're a liar. Like, you're a fraud.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, I get that's hard to do, but shouldn't we have the benefits of a free market picking up on that, where like someone makes this shit more affordable?
I literally watched a 20-minute video of how to actually, do it myself. Yeah, and I was just like, I don't have the equipment to do it. Therefore, I could just send it in. But if I tell them, like, yo, I know, like, send me back there with the stuff. I'll pay you $50 to sit and use your equipment, and I'll do it myself.
Yeah, for sure. It's like it's the capital needed to do so. Like the sterilized space, the additional parts. Like, how many of these hard drives have you cracked open and taken one thing from that you still have the piece from another one? It's like your motor probably isn't turning because of one component. You got that laying around somewhere if you've been organized about this shit. But
literally.
That's terrifying, man. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. We'll get another hard drive for this next shoot.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. Oh, by the way, and last thing about the social media thing, because I like to be irresistible. Our most recent post, I started to do the vertical thing now. Yeah. Because it takes up the most real estate on Instagram or Facebook. So I'm just like, this is the way we're going to go now. So now, for all my clients, I'm going to start giving those things as promo materials out too. So yeah.
That was, you always make it easy, and like I'm glad that we're both Google Drive people, so it's really easy to share back and forth. But like, I asked him about sending me a teaser for the colorful drop as well as just like the final versions. And I got the final version I'm putting on YouTube and Facebook, but then I got vertical versions of everything where I didn't have to sift through that shit on my own, which is just a nightmare. Get it in the original resolution with the actual content being compressed one more time in a different variant. Like, that's why I love you, man. Like, you make it so much easier.
I do my best.
Well, I want to pull up some of this content from our other videos. I would love to show y'all a little bit of everything that Sim and I have done together and just talk about some of the weird shit that we've had to put up with on these shoots.
Yes. You know what's funny? They've all been successful. We have not put out a video that hasn't done like really any type of low numbers. I can't think of anyway. Maybe the park.
It's hard to say what like. I was talking to my friend Tommy about this today. Your own metrics for what is success will dictate your level of happiness with this. Like,
I'm happy with everything that's just finished.
Exactly. To take the hands off is a big enough success in itself. Like, we all know people that have those issues of trying to make a project better, and at some point, not only is there diminishing returns on your time put in, but you start to take away from the purity of the content, the inspiration. Like, if there's one thing that you and I have gotten good at together, it's taking an idea that's rough around the edges and has some dirt on it and letting those aspects of it play to our advantage. Like let's hop into cooking really quick. Best part about Cookin Me Up is the fact that when we went to Richie's and we said we want to shoot this video, they said we got to stay open. It's like, you want to stay open while we shoot a video in your 4x6 restaurant? Like, smallest space possible. But those are the real employees. They're actually cooking food. Every extra in this video was just there to eat. And you get this spontaneity that actually shows you what's going on in the place. You know?
Yeah, I remember because of Cincinnati is a very interesting place. There is literally just streets that we would prefer. We would call hazardous, and then others where you're like, oh, you could just walk fine. You know, you'll be fine, kinda, sorta, depending. But this street in particular was hazardous, and I was like, the first thing he said to me when he said we were going to do this on this street,
on Lynn Street.
on Lynn Street. I didn't know we were name dropping or not.
I know where it's at.
Okay, cool. So
tagged.
on Lynn Street, I was like, the first thing I was like, we're going to need security. And it's only because I grew up in Cincinnati when it was also just more hazardous than gentrified. That's such a great way to say it, I think,
dude, it's,
politically.
It's like, but you know, it's real concerns you have when you're going there with like all your equipment. They want to stay open. This neighborhood's had issues before, and like everyone we dealt with that day was
amazing,
super friendly. Except
yeah.
That day, I tell this story on stage a lot because it just fucks with my head. These guys come up and we have, okay, let me go to the end of this clip just so we can give a shout out to this dance crew. These girls, they were contacted by my boy Greg. Shout out Greg up for this, all the help on this video. They had just got these new uniforms, and then their first recital in the new uniforms, and they're like, yeah, this dance that we have planned out for tonight works for the video. So they're pretty much doing a trial run with us. And it looks like we have this 30-person choreographed dance troupe coming there just balling out. But really, it's a dance school down the street where they came before their performance, so they were already dressed. And so while we're finishing up shooting this video, like these 30 girls and their mothers are standing at the side of this restaurant, and this minivan shows up, and these are the entrepreneurs of the neighborhood. Okay, these guys are selling 3 things: fanny packs, turtles in small cages, and tasers. And I'm pretty sure it was a bundle deal. I was like, how?
Tasers?
Yeah, I hear tasers.
That makes sense actually for that street.
Yes, but like, why? Like, what if you put a turtle in the fanny pack with a taser and you actually kill your new pet? They even thought through this shit.
That's the hard shell, man.
Well, I get they did have small cages. You're right, but still, just like the bizarreness of the day, and like, you know, this is a poorly paved gravel parking lot. We've been there drinking since 11 a.m. just trying to knock this video out. Yeah. And just at the end, you're just in disbelief at the amount of shit that we shot, trying to make sure we'd have it all when we're walking out of there. And it just got better and worse and better and worse the entire time.
Right.
But taking those risks and having a little bit of fear behind it, like, we're going to need security and we're going to need to get this done as quickly as possible. Like,
this was... this is why I was talking about numbers earlier, because I think this also just blew up because it was very much organic, like in terms of just how it was all put together. Because when you told me about the idea, I was like, he's fucking with me. he's this is a joke. And he's like, no, I really want to do the video at Richie's. It's Cookin Me Up. There's food. Like, I want to do it there. I'm like, okay, cool.
I was on Richie's kick at the time too. Like, it called to me late night. I was there at like 1:30 a.m. grabbing food with my buddies, and I wasn't at this location, but I was walking out of there. I was like, this place is such a vibe. And then I mentioned it to Greg, and we told you, and you were like, I don't like the idea.
I mean, but you know what's funny? It worked so well. Like, it's one of those things when I've learned not to be married to anything when it comes to my work for the most part. There's certain things I'm like, no, we need to keep that. That makes sense because of X, Y, and Z. But other times I'm like, no, we'll just fuck it, wing it. Let's do it. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, and you have to cast a wide net when you're doing things like this, because unfortunately, like, if everything gets storyboarded down to a T and you do just that, you're going to end up with, you know, a third of the wow factor that you expected to have. Like,
Right.
Like, another great example of that is, like, let's jump to the park really quick. The weirdest aspects of the park is we got busted by security for not having permits for this. Like, I didn't know we needed permits to shoot in this park, but they did. So,
you know what? Am I?
I love that gazebo still because look at Sammy and Jamarca. I've never noticed the joy going on.
Yeah. Everyone's energy was so great on this.
But like, so we show up there, like, had a couple drinks, we're hanging out, and like, what was the first thing they said? Okay, no standing equipment. This guy came up, he was like, hey, you can't have like cameras on tripods and keyboards and drum sets set up.
I kind of already knew that too, thankfully.
Well, and he said that it was on the sign in the front, and it's raining like hell outside of this gazebo. And this guy's like, it says on all the signs, and I was just feeling convinced that if I just spent some time with this guy, like it was gonna be okay. So I was like, show me the sign, let's take a walk. So this guy's like, show you the sign, and I was like, no, walk me to the sign, show me where it says that. So he's like, all right, fine. Like, this is a pissed off security guard just trying to get us out of Washington Park. So he and I walk like, probably 2 minutes in the rain. Like, we're just shooting the shit. We're just talking at this point. And we get to the sign, and he's like reading as he scrolls with his finger. And I'm just like, I don't see it yet. I don't see it yet. I don't see it. And he gets to the bottom of the sign. And he goes, oh, it's not on the sign. And I was like, does that mean we're cool?
Wow.
He was like, it doesn't mean we're cool, but like, you're right, it's not on the sign. And I was like, well, let's go talk to somebody else. So at this point, I go back to the security office.
That's when the lady comes in.
The lady comes in.
Oh, she was worse, though.
Yeah, y'all are still under the gazebo. You're all still talking to this one lady, and I'm in the security office with this guy. He and I are soaking wet, and everyone else is like, are you with that band? Like, that's... And I was like, hey, like, yeah, we're shooting a video. Like, sorry, we didn't know we needed a permit, but we're almost done. You mind if we wrap up? They're like, no, you can't wrap up. And I was like, cool, good to know. Like, so I'm going to go see my buddies, and we're going to wrap this up, and I'll see you. They're like, you can't wrap it up. I was like, hey, I'll see you in a little bit. Thank you so much. Like, I go back, and this woman has been talking to some
Matt's
members.
a gangster.
I was just, we were almost done. You know, like, we and this was the second shoot for this video. Like, we tried once. It didn't go well. We came back again trying to do this.
That's why what's so funny? I was looking at this video.
Yeah.
I was like, why does it seem so different than oh, that's why. It was shot in 2 different days.
2 different days, 2 different scenes. Like, one is like a farmer's market, packed fucking full of people. And then the other one is on a night where they're supposed to have a movie in the park, and it's pouring down rain, so no one wants to be out there. And we're out there trying to shoot a video. So I come back, and this woman is just fuming because some members of our team were not being kind about being kicked out of the park potentially. So me and this woman
we weren't kind.
What? Y'all were kind. Just one member of our team wasn't kind, and it caused a situation.
Oh.
And we just talked to this lady for a while. She's like, yeah, you got to get out of here. So we're like, cool, we'll start packing things up. So she walked away, and we immediately started shooting this video again. Like, we got to get this done. And
that's right, I remember that.
Yeah, so if you bounce to this next scene, like,
oh,
we switched spots after this. Like, we moved in front of this fountain. Where is it?
Yeah, I was.
Yes,
so
okay.
I became real ambitious, and I was like, dude, we need to get over there.
And we had some blow-ups happen when we tried to shoot this scene because of all the water and everyone. It was a mess. Yeah. But then over the shoulder on the back left side of this, you probably can't see it in this scene, but security is on like the far left behind the red lights, and they're just staring at us, fuming. And someone yells, "We're gonna call the cops."
They actually did call the cops.
Yeah, this member of our team that wasn't doing very well with the situation yells, "Call the cops!" And I was like, "Oh my god!"
It was not me or Jamarco.
We dipped so quick after that, and thankfully there was never any issues with it. Speaking of not tagging people, we didn't tag them. That's for damn sure.
Right.
But those kinds of aspects, the shoots, like the urgency and the weirdness, but just saying like, we're gonna get this done. We're not giving up at 95% upload. Like right. You gotta stay.
It will be 100%.
Yes, we will get this. Actually,
I forgot we actually ran too. I remember us actually running.
I remember running with a bunch of your like tripod lights. After like Nick had it by far the worst. Nick has a full drum set on a cart pushing it through.
Oh yeah, he did.
the whole thing, man. It's just unfair. The plight of a drummer, my friends. Please give more love to those people. But then another great example is like, so in the Wild video here, this first scene we shot at the sketchiest motel maybe in all of Cincinnati. Like, this place was disgusting. Like, we went into the office. We offered to pay them to let us shoot there. While we're in there shooting, this creepy manager's like standing over the shoulder of Simion and the rest of the team, and like there's clearly a drug deal going on in this parking lot. It's just like everything's going wrong about this shoot, and I'm sitting there in my buddy's 1973 Eldorado Cadillac, like, oh my god, this is really going poorly. Cadillac. It was dude, such a nice car. I remember the look on your face when I rolled up in that. You were like, all right.
Right, yeah, I was like, we can work with this. I mean, because really, when you told me about it, I don't even think I looked the car up. I just trusted you, and I'm just like, oh, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. As long as there's a cool whip, and it's like, it ended up being something really classy, fit the vibe really well. At the end of the night, we shot this on a Tuesday in downtown Cincy, and like by the end of it, like it's 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning when we're finishing up, and I had to take this car back on a full tank of gas. So I am about on E. It's 4 a.m. We're downtown, and I'm in this thing, this boat of a car, which I'm terrified to drive.
It really is like a boat. Like, literally, massive. When I seen it, I was like, the hell is this? It's so big and wide. Like, Jesus Christ.
That's how they made cars back then. You know, it was like, it's a different era of a vehicle. But speaking of that, like, I pull in this gas station on E, and I'm looking for the gas cap. And I'm like, where do you put gas in this fucking car? Like, I'm about to lose. Everyone's gone home. It's just me in this gorgeous whip. And whenever sketchy folk are hanging out downtown Cincy at 5 a.m. on a Tuesday morning. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm freaking out because I can't find where to put gas in this thing. And just like the most grandpa-esque figure, like this dude is practically a mirage in my head. He walks over, he goes, I like your car. I was like, it ain't my car, dog. I was like, any chance, like you like these things? Like, you know where the gas cap is? He goes, normally they hide it. And I was like, what do you mean they hide it? He goes, it's like a James Bond movie. Like, they put them underneath the license plate, or they put them underneath the tail light. I was like, no way. So he goes over, he kind of pulls on the license plate. He goes, not there. And he goes over to the tail light. And let's see if we can, there's probably a shot of the tail light somewhere on here. That's probably the closest to what we'll get. Wait for it. So you see how like the taillights kind of jut out. So on the right side you can see it a little bit better. The taillight lifts off the back of it to the right side, and there's your gas cap. And it's like, it's one of the most badass features I could ever imagine. But Mark DeCamp, why didn't you tell me that before you let me borrow your damn car? Like, I'm terrified of you and that thing. Mark is like a super nice ex-Navy SEAL. He's like 6'6", one of the sweetest dudes, but he could kill me pretty quick if I messed up his car.
Right.
Or if I left it downtown, or if I pushed it into his driveway.
Right. Or brought it back with literally it being on E. I'm like, oh yeah, here's your car.
Yeah, like, well,
good luck getting to the gas station.
He would have helped me out, I think, a little bit there. But Mark is such a nice dude. But you know,
I never knew that happened to you that night.
Yeah, I kept it to myself for a while. But aspects like that, like they make looking back on this way more enjoyable, because like that's the chaos that makes a video special, you know, like True. You not knowing that that's the car you're shooting on adds some excitement the day of. So everything you've planned around now forms around the expectations of what's really there to work with.
Right.
Like another good example of that is, he was just shitting on me the other day about never telling him about the wardrobe I'm going to pick, because I don't know until the day of. So I walk in every time, he's like, you're wearing that? And I'm like, oh, I guess I'm not. Hurt my feelings a little bit there, dog, but sure. And like, wardrobe.
I care about it.
Yeah.
I care about the way the artist presents themselves for themselves and for myself.
For sure. Well, with that in mind, I think this is probably the longest episode I've done on this show in about a year.
I'm so sorry.
No, actually, I'm just happy to have you out, brother.
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, man.
Speaking of, by the way, last thing that was unplanned, because I feel like you're about to move on.
Yeah.
So before you move on, can you go to the Fountain Square shot?
Of the Wild video?
Yes.
Oh, dude.
You were
of the vents? I think there's a okay.
probably a better. You talking about the wide shot of it?
Yeah, there's a couple of
very beginning.
Yeah, let's go to the top. You right. Also, shout out to my girlfriend Emily. The best female lead is one you really love.
Right. So this beginning part here was not planned.
Like, yeah, that whole
the whole you in front of the car, the smoke coming out of the vents and everything. Now, I shot this video not this video. I shot a video previously in the same location during the day for a fashion commercial, and I remembered the smoke coming up. We so happened to all meet up at this spot.
Yeah.
Just to meet. We weren't supposed to shoot there. When we got there, I'm like, there's nothing else to do. We're just waiting around. How about we just play around? And this was the result of that. It is literally probably one of the most iconic things that like I've done.
It's the first hook of the video, you know? Like it really pulls listeners in. And it's also like it's the still frame. Those marketing materials I used for like a year. And it just takes being like open-minded and kind of wide-eyed throughout these entire shoots to make the most of what's actually there, not what you expected to be there.
Yep. Anyone that watched this video when it came out, because this video I think is probably our most popular video.
I don't know. Cookin has the most views. Like it
really?
Caught fire a little bit earlier, but I'd say this is our best work up till now.
Yeah. Well, so anyone that's watched it, that's in the film production community, they ask me like, how did you shoot this? Where did you shoot this at? So on and so forth. And every time I told them that I shot it naturally, like I had no extra lights, they're like, you're fucking lying. I'm like, I shit you not. That the placement was just I knew, like I do photography too, but me knowing how to always play with natural light because of photography made it real easy for me to do just that naturally.
Yeah.
On the cuff.
Well, and that's, one more thing to talk about in this video is the last sequence. This entire performance sequence was from a set of show footage that we never thought we'd use. In the back of these, like this is the Blue Ash Summer Concert Series. Like they have all these like. I don't want to talk shit about it, but like bad looking like vinyl signs hung in the rafters with like the can lights of this show, and we thought we'd be using more of this for the video. Not even for this video. We just wanted to use it for live footage. But the day that we're doing the first edit of this, it's like, how do we up it a little bit? Like how do we punch through that wall and kind of take them somewhere different at the end? And Sim pulls up this footage and starts to, mess with whatever the color.
The color, yeah. I messed with the color. I messed with the speed a little bit. And I was just like, I could have sworn I shot you saying this, performing this song. We're not going to use it anywhere else. How about we just see if it will fit in the video?
Totally. And it ends up making aspects of that video just come to life. It's like you never realize where you want to pull from. And I feel like when you look at artists that have really made it, like sometimes people get a little bit too clean because they only take from exactly what they thought they wanted before. It's like, and you never know what you really want until you get there and you really start pulling and digging, like, and arguing a little bit too. Like,
we argue every edit session.
Every shoot, it's just like those are the factors that you need in creative partners. Someone that doesn't look at it the way you do, that's willing to compromise, but also willing to put their foot down. Like you said, like it's only a few things that I'm going to be, really adamant about. But believe me, like I'm going to be loud about that shit. Like it has to happen this
Exactly.
way.
Yep.
And I don't need to be pushing you on this, but anyone that's looking for a videographer and a director in their life, like Simion has been such a good friend to me, and that's why like we can have these conversations about the art at large because we've done this enough times to really see eye to eye, but then also have a totally different perspective of what it is. And it goes a long way. So give my man a shout for something. But
thank you. I'm excited. I'm excited to do this again when Colorful is released.
Yes.
Because we also argued about that in the edit, and I thought it was hilarious. It came out just well. Like it just worked.
I'd say we probably fought more in that edit, but also that's the dynamic of having 2 people rather than 3 people. It's like once you have a majority vote to go a certain way, certain decisions are just decided by that.
Yep.
Versus like when it's just 2 people, you have to sway them to your opinion to get somewhere. and we both had some whack ideas, like and they ended up being great. Like, so this will come out on, let's see, I'll drop this on the 16th or the 17th. But we can pull up a little bit of this video, like, because we already watched the trailer. Like, let's just look at this initial scene and talk about some of this stuff. Like these guitar shots that are, a huge part of the beginning. Like, one, I bought this guitar 2 days in advance of this. Like, Sim had no idea I was coming in with a new instrument and what to make of it. But I look over while I'm still setting shit up, and he's just doing all these gorgeous shots on this guitar. And, like, I didn't see him during the day. Like, I didn't know how that was going to go on. And then we also started with this idea that I wanted to have this swinging light bulb. So it's like, how do we get this light bulb swinging perfectly each time? And their answer is you don't. You don't. You go in there and shout out Taylor Hughes, which she is.
Taylor's amazing.
The most amazing project manager, producer. She just has a great way of making things happen when it's what the team wants to do. So, like, legit, every time this light bulb is swinging out of frame, like, she's tapping that again. Like, she's getting it back in motion. She's the one flickering the light bulb the entire time on, like, a shitty power switch. We could have blown up.
I've had people that I've previewed this to, and they're like, "How is that flickering? Like, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Yeah, someone's just flicking it."
But holy shit, does it pop? And also, like, I don't know what you did in terms of, like, colorization on this, but I'll tell you, the difference between someone who knows how to color grade and someone who doesn't. After the edit session, I'm pretty happy with this video. After you send me the color graded version, I'm like, holy, it blows the roof off it. The blues are so, they're buoyant. They pop off the screen, man. It just, that's why you need the better TV. Go buy yourself a TV to watch the damn video.
Yes.
But, like, other things that, like, I had no idea we were going for. That's all you get for right now. Watch the
I love that. You actually cut it off as soon as it's...
Yeah. Next black screen for it.
Exactly.
When you started playing with, like, the aspect ratio and pulling these images apart, like, I would have never expected the way that dynamic complements, like, the manic feel of the song, the true craze of it.
Yeah.
And that takes dumb amounts of time. So thank you.
It's tedious as shit. Like, it's super tedious. And when you guys actually get to watch the video, I challenge you. I'm pretty sure no one will, but if there's just one super fan that does, if I'm not, still broke at the time, I'll give you like a $20 gift card, and like
to the Applebee's.
A Visa $20 gift card. You can use it anywhere. But if you could tell me how many cuts are by the end of the video, yeah, that's worth it, because there's so many.
Cuts, what do you mean?
Cuts meaning each time the clip changes. Because it's difficult because of how many flashes there are, and then how many invincible cuts there are. But
invincible cuts or invisible cuts?
Invincible. Yeah.
What does that mean?
I have a horrible time saying that word.
Invisible?
Invincible.
We're gonna talk about this all day.
Invisible.
Bang, baby.
Not invincible. Yeah, invisible. Yeah, because there's so many of those in that. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, I remember, like, sitting there in that. In your office,
Matt's
and
just like this.
Well, he walks out of the room, and like I start touching shit, and he comes back and he's like, "All right, like I'll let you do some work for a bit," because like it really does take so much time to craft out these aspects of it. Like, that's why it's frustrating when that drop off happens after 15 seconds of viewing. But in the end, like, above all things, this is for us. This is documenting the progression and getting better at the craft. And I can't tell you how much it means to have you on board, brother. I mean, you have kicked ass at all these projects, but, like, especially on Colorful. Like, we're jumping into a new tier. I can't wait for everyone to see it. It's going to be great.
Pleasure,
want to leave it there?
I love it, yeah. Because I got nothing but love for you. I've been smiling like a madman the whole time because I'm just so geeked and happy, and I do genuinely appreciate our friendship and us working together, man. Like, it's one of the most fulfilling things that I've had since I've started my career. So,
oh man, I feel super fortunate. Well, ladies and gentlemen, please check out the video. It's coming out November 19th. Check out RiverSky Films and the multitude of projects that he's put out. He's coming off a year hiatus of posting any content, and he has opened the floodgates. Shit's about to go down. We're shooting a new video 2 weeks from now, so it's about to go down, everybody. Sim, thanks so much, brother. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Matt. Hopefully it all recorded.
Well, it looks like my phone's dead, so parts of this episode may just be audio.
That's wild. Oh well,
bro. It happens.
You have It's a podcast and a video thing, right?
Yeah. Well, it's not on any it's not on a just audio formats. Like, it's always assumed that you're watching the video, but I'll just throw the wave over there because I really enjoyed that conversation, man. It's been a while since I've had a guest on the show.
I love it. That's hilarious. I just noticed that you have a bouncy ball
Dude,
sitting.
It's so nice for the posture. Like, it's so.
I believe.